and the way I've seen it is that we react, right? For example, anger is a very common reaction to when we see things which are not happening the way we want them to be, and we express it. Sometimes we'll numb it. So it's either way, either we express it or we say, okay, let me just go watch some social media and take my mind off that crappy thing that happened to me. And what mindfulness is doing is inviting you to see, investigate that anger. And so let me give you an example. I was talking to a client of mine, and so I do mindfulness coaching. And she was like, okay, I cannot stand this. She's like, I'm right here and the other person's wrong. And I'm so angry about it. And I said, why don't you write a letter about your anger and then burn it? And she says, well, what do I do with the letter then? So I'm like, not burn them. But burn the letter. So I was giving her ways. And I said, okay, let's take a step back and let's say, let's investigate this anger. Let's just say, what is it you are angry about? And just investigating it a little bit more. Where does it show up in your body? How does it show up? How do you know that you are angry? And that what if you were to give this anger some space to exist in your body, and which was really very foreign to her, because most of us live a few inches away from our body, like Mr. Duffy from James Joyce character in one of his short stories. And so it's just bringing us in that moment, present moment awareness, that I am feeling this anger and this is why I am feeling it. And if I was to give it a space, what does the anger want from me, or what is it I can do to respond more mindfully, more wisely, with clear, seeing it clearly, with more compassion, then what would this expression of anger look like? And usually it is different than burning the person. So when we look at it that way.
Yeah. And, all of this sounds really great. And it sounds like it also requires you to pause, take some time, look within, and back to kind of in the corporate world, or, in business, we're all kind of maybe moving really fast, and that feels maybe not possible or hard. What success have you seen, or, do you have people that experience that and kind of push back on, this idea of mindful leadership, or, is that something that you see, with your team, with the people you coach?
Most of people who come to me are already struggling in some ways. So which means that selection already happens. So they are ready to experiment. But always there are enough who will also push back, especially if I'm trying to enter into a new, new customer segment. I'm going there and talking about this, and then they say, no, mindfulness doesn't work for us. And I once worked for a defense organization, and the leader there told me that don't bring up, whatever you do, Anu, don't bring up the word mindfulness. So I said, okay, we'll bring it in some other form. So we just gave it a different name.
And did that work?
That worked.
Yeah. Yeah, what was that's nice. Yeah, reframing what it is to get the outcome desired.
Presence. Call it presence, right? Mm-hmm. Call it self-awareness. Call it wisdom. Let's just but presence usually is a good word, which I have substituted for mindfulness. So it doesn't have to be. At the end of it, what we are creating is the present moment awareness. Mm-hmm. And when there is present moment awareness, I am working not from a place of fear. I can bring my executive brain to make wiser decisions for me. And so I'm going to be in a better place. So at the end of it, all feels good. It all feels right. But because we are so habituated to reacting And in fact, the world almost expects us to make a decision instantly,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not giving ourselves the space. And so then when we start giving ourselves space, we recognize that, oh, this works. Now, who cares whether we call it Mr. Duffiness or, or mindfulness? It's working.